Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 15 of Direwolf20's Let's Play of UniversIO. Today, I added a redstone signal to the controller to turn it off. Mostly because it's been chewing up energy. I've noticed that basically the flux manifold thing won't accept a mana burst if it's full on energy, but even if it's like a super tiny smidge low on energy, it will accept it. So we're kind of burning through all our mana as fast as we possibly can, trying to keep the small amount of power we need for our refined storage system up and running. So what I did is I turned off the thing so that this guy can, do his mana stuff. I also threw a bunch of Mobius fuel in there, so I figured that would be a good long-lasting fuel source for us. I didn't do Eternalist fuel, I just went Mobius fuel. I feel like there might be a limit to how much energy those flowers can accept from a fuel source, but I might be wrong on that, so I'm honestly not sure. So all I have to do whenever I want to use the thing is just flip the lever, and boom, it's up and running, and we're good to go. And it'll drain a little bit of mana, and then when we're done, we turn it off, and we save some power. At least until we get more power from RF, because, that's, I think, what we're going to be doing next. What we did last episode was got access to uranium, which has an EMC value, so we're cool. We don't have to make more of that, which is good. We also got, the ability to make the fission and fusion stuff, but I haven't quite gotten there yet. I think I want to hold off on that for a minute and jump straight into bigger reactors. And then we're also probably going to want to start playing with, Project D at some point, because we're going to get, all the Project D toys look like they're in here, among some other fun things. So, here's the plan. I'm going to make a reactor fuel rod, and I'm going to make reactor casings, and then we're just going to progress and do all the stuff. So we're going to need iron ingots, we're going to need graphite ingots. Shouldn't be too big of a problem. We have graphite, we have iron, and then we'll see what happens. Cool. How are we for iron? Like, do I want to smelt up more of it? I probably want to smelt up more of it. I'm thinking yes. Maybe at least 2 stacks. Seems like a smart move. Okay, cool. So I'm going to start with just getting like probably a pretty small sized reactor. I don't think we need like a massive reactor. Depending on how the pack is designed, right? I mean, if the pack is taking your default values, the smallest size big reactor will likely hold me over forever. Well, I don't want to say forever, but for a long time based on my current RF usage, right? Because we're barely doing anything else at this point. So control rod, terminal, power tap, and access port. Surprisingly, I have all those on my to-do list already because I figured that was happening. So we definitely want a power tap. Let's get you guys in here so that you're easier. Sweet. We'll just get a few more of them. Reactor glass might make an appearance. Do I want a redstone port? Yeah, I think I want a redstone port. An access port would definitely be cool. This is how you get your stuff in and out. I might want 2 of those, I'm thinking. Yeah, it can't hurt. Bing, bang, boom. The terminal is definitely an important one. We're going to need a diamond for that, but luckily EMCable. Right, the terminal is like the brains of the operation. I think control rods are a thing that I need. Yeah. Look at all that. Quests complete. It's like Dire knows how to do this mod. I know, it's crazy. So I think what I'll start with is like the most basic imaginable reactor. That's probably a good plan. Now to get more of these, we're going to need more iron, which luckily I had the foresight to start smelting, because I had a feeling that was going to be needed. So let's start with where are we gonna build this doohickey. I could make this my reactor room, right? I could move this crucible. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you debuff me for that, don't you? I guess that makes sense. I let a bunch of nasty, horrible things into the environment. That's on me. That's my fault. Do I have any dirt on me? Now, I know that I'm going to forget to turn this thing off frequently, but hopefully soon that won't be a problem because, I feel like in a minute or two we're going to have some big reactors and it's going to be, far easier to maintain our power. Cool. So this could be my little, little tiny reactor room. He might be a little too tiny because I think I want a 3x3. So I could just bump, if I bump the roof up by like 1, maybe 2. I think 2 would probably be a good play. Yeah, let's do that. Just so I can stand on the roof of my reactor and not, you know, feel cramped inside. Good. Did I bring glass with me? No, but I will get some. See? Knew I was going to forget. It was a likely scenario. And then just a little bit of... Didn't I grab the glass? Am I imagining things? I feel like I grabbed glass at some point. I wonder how much more I'm going to need to use that thing. Oh, interesting. It didn't want to extract until I reopened the UI there. Maybe because of the power thing. Okay, and then you're going to do... Ta-da! Loving it. Okay, so now we can build our big reactor, which I think I'll just plop right here, right? I don't see any reason not to. Generally, I would want the reactor terminal, which I think is the brains of the operation, right there. We could have our power tap. We're going to want our 2 access ports. Is this the smallest reactor you can make? I'm thinking yes. I guess we'll find out. And then we want our fuel rod, and then we want our control rod on top of that, right? And I'm thinking power tap in the back. All right, and then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish more. So I'll get 2 more sets of these. And that should be good. Does that count? That seems like it counts. That works for me, right? Direction input. Change what this port is outputting. Manual waste ejection. Cool. And you can be output, which is waste or fuel. Yeah, we want to output waste. That's cool. All right, and then we just need some uranium. And I'm going to grab an extra stack here. Input, output. So if you're input, how do I actually get items into you? Do I need to hopper it in? Like, is it required to have a hopper? Anything's possible. Trying to save power until such time that we have actual power. So if I do that, that seems to be working. Wow, that did not use a lot of uranium. Sweet. Okay, cool. And then the last thing we need to do is get power. So what I'll probably do is snag you. Reactor power output tap. There's no UI for that, it looks like, so that's cool. And online. Sweet. And we're generating around 800-ish RF a tick with the current status. Now I should be able to... Can't I increase this? So if I made you like 90% inserted, wouldn't you generate like 80 RF a tick when you're online? I can insert you even more, actually. 96% fuel rod insertion. See, that's letting it run slower. So now, and we're using 0.011 millibuckets per tick of fuel. Reactor is 100% reactive rate, and we're building up a nice little internal buffer here. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, that functions as like a very basic, simple, super early reactor, right? I would say so. And now we've got all the RF we'll need for at least the immediate future. I suspect what'll happen when we get to fusion and fission, we're going to need a lot more power. But for now, this is enough to charge, right? So, like, we have a net gain, right? We can go turn on this dude, which uses 5 RF a tick. Right, it's nothing. But it was enough to mess with my mana flux thing, right? So we're still net gaining. We're producing 135 RF a tick, so we have a net gain of 130-ish. You know, you're probably outputting the 5 that we need for refined storage. Done deal, right? Oh, let me show you guys a cool tip, by the way. Somebody commented this on my video. If you shift right-click the bed, you sleep like normal. So it doesn't do the whole time accelerating thing. It just immediately skips the night, which is super cool, actually. So that's a cool pro tip that I discovered reading the comments of my videos. Look at me, doing a good job. All right, so, hey, we've got a big reactor. That was actually easier than I expected it to be. So I no longer need you to be redstone power, because I want you to ignore redstone signal and be always on. Do we have any ender pearls left? We don't. I would love a wireless dude. Speaking of the wireless dudes, do we have like that infinity range? That cross-dimensional. Dimension card. Yay! It is in here. Nice. Okay. We just need infinity range boosters, which does need another star, which I assume at some point we'll figure out how to make. Ooh. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. We can like literally just make those. Neat. Now we only know, so this doesn't have an EMC value, by the way, and these two we don't know yet, and this one does have an EMC value. You get dissolved from wither skeleton skulls or fusioned. You guys get made from stone. You guys get made from chorus fruit and purpur type stuff. Okay, good to know. We'll have to get to that at some point. So interestingly, that ends the quest line for the most part over here. I feel like a fission chamber I could probably knock out real quick, just to knock out that quest. So we're just gonna need more cosmic dust and more netherite. The problem being that we're probably a little low on EMC now from all that uranium and diamond we just used. So I've done this a couple times now, where I just grab a bunch of cosmic dust, and then I make all the stuff to get EMC. At least until we get passive EMC gen, which we should probably start. That might be the thing I do next, is passive EMC gem. Only because that would mean I don't have to do this anymore, which is fine, but also starting to get a little tedious, I'm just saying. Cool. So I'll be back after I finish making a bunch of EMC, and then we'll maybe start on some passive RF generation or EMC generation. Cool. All right, be right back. All right, bunch of EMC made and a bunch of netherite scrap ready to go, which means I can now make my fission controller. I thought I threw an extra stack inside the refined storage system, but I must have forgot. So with that done, now we can. I'm just gonna keep at least one stack in there, right? It seems smart. Seems like a smart move. I will. Let's start building those things out, just so we can kind of see. I kind of forget. Like, does it show me the multi-block that I need? Isn't there like a way to see like how the multi-block needs to look or something? I must be imagining or forgetting that. Is there an alchemistry book? Let's look up. Actually, there are a bunch of these. Alt-click to expand them. So there's UniversIO, there's Hex, there's LaserIO, Alchemistry Labs Guide. There we go. That's what we want. Journal of Alchemy. That's reactive, which is a little different. Squirt Gun, New Metacraft, and Advanced Peripherals. Okay, cool. So let's just see if we have one of those in here. We have the laser IO. Do we have alchemistry? We have Journal of Alchemy from Reactive, but we don't have the alchemistry book. So luckily we have a book. Where did I get a book from? I don't even know. How many books do we have? Exactly one. Okay, that works. Cool. So here's all the things we've been playing with. Atomizer, I don't think we've... Oh, that's for fluids. Okay, yeah. I don't think we've messed with that one yet. Liquefier, I guess that's also somewhat for fluids. Cool. Reactors and overview. Fission, fission multi-block. So this is gonna split things in half, right? And then there's the fusion overview that's combining two things, right? So then fission multi-block, that's a pretty decent sized one. And fusion multi-block, also a very decent sized one. Are they the same? Because if they're the same, I'm just going to swap controllers for what I need to do at any given time. I'm going to build one of these. Let me screenshot what fusion is, and then I'm going to compare them. And you're just going to have to take my word for it because you can't see my screenshot. Ha ha ha. So the fission controller, we need 3 fusion cores. This one needs 3 fission cores. And then reactor energy input, same. Reactor item input, same. Reactor item output, same. 62 reactor casing, 36 reactor glass. So it's literally just the 3 cores and the controller that are different. So I could make one multi-block and just swap out the cores and the controller as needed. Yes? I believe that to be an accurate assessment. So why don't I get started making those things? So what I'm going to get is... So we have the controllers, right? We have the fission and the fusion controllers. Now, reactor glass and... what is this thing? Alchemistry? I thought I had some alchemistry multi-blocks. Reactor casings. Didn't I have reactor casings? I'm like 89,000% sure I made reactor casings at some point. Did they go somewhere? You know, they might have got into here. Yes, that's where they went. Okay, cool. So we're going to need reactor glass. We're going to need reactor casings. And then we're going to need a reactor item input and a reactor item output. Okay, so those 2 things go there. And energy input as well. And then eventually we're going to need fusion and fission cores. Right? Fission cores and fusion cores, which we're going to have to see if I can make. I haven't found this yet, but I'm guessing at some point it's doable. Yttrium can be made, and yttrium is needed for the, which one? Because this one we can do, right? I thought I had tungsten. I'm sure I have tungsten, I just may not have done the metal yet. Yeah, no, we have tungsten, right? So I can unlock you. Assuming that you can... Huh. Tungsten? Oh, it's a compactor. Well, that's your problem. Compactor. Yeah, that makes more sense. So that's doable, right? The other one we're going to have to figure out, but why don't we just learn it real quick? And then you can smelt it. Cool. And then yttrium, right? How do we get yttrium dust? That would be yttrium. We can get it either from dissolving deep slate, it looks like. And it looks pretty unlikely. Or I'm sure we could like fission it from gold. That's probably doable. Fission needs yttrium, so we're going to need the fusion version of it, right? So to fusion it, it would basically be anything that adds up to yttrium, right? There's literally a dozen different ways to do it with things that we know. So we could make the fusion first, and then use fusion to make yttrium so we can fission it. That's probably the smart play. And then, like I said, a lot of these have EMC, but some of them don't clearly. I think it might be like the 100s might not have EMC. Right, and then you can go in there and it's learned. Hooray! Okay, let me get to work on the reactor casings and the reactor glass. As I remember, it's a lot of this, but it's EMCable. And reactor casings is a lot of this, but it's also all EMCable. So I will be back once I have 62 reactor casings and 36 reactor glass. Cool. So we're going to need lead oxide and silicon dioxide. All right, that should be close. And then you guys, and there's your scrap. And that's what we'll need for the fusion cores. That's one, actually. I need 3 of those, don't I? Yeah, I need 3 fusion cores. So more carbon, 2 stacks more of carbon, and 2 stacks more of tungsten. And then you guys can get to work for me. And then meanwhile, what I'll need is 6 more tungsten ingots times 2. There you are. Boom. Loving it. Okay, so there's your fusion cores. There's the reactor casings. They come 4 at a time, so I just made a stack. So that's cool. And then we've got our controllers, our glass. Did I make the... I didn't make these yet. Now, are they going to need... They're going to need some of this stuff, so I might as well get a little bit more. So 4 of you and 4 of you. And then you will make 1 more batch of these that can be used to make... We're going to need 2 hoppers for an input. And then we're going to need an output, which is going to need 2 droppers. And then we're going to need energy, which is just redstone. So that's easy. Sweet. All right, good deal. Where do I want to put this is an exceptional question. Do I want a new room for this thing? Might not be a terrible idea. Thinking. We might want a new room. Yeah. I think we will. Now, it's very possible that at some point in the future, we're going to decide that we're going to need both of these. So I should probably build the room big enough to support both. I just hate building without gadgets. I'm so used to having gadgets to build with, but there's still no gadgets. There's a lot of things, but nothing's a gadgety. Nothing super gadgety. Or we could just build this outside for now and then build a building around it. That might not be a bad idea. Let's do that. You know where I'm going to put it? I'm going to put it in this corner. I like that plan. Okay. So then what we want, let's just visualize it with the book, right? So this is the fission core. We want actually the fusion one because that's the one. It always confused me with this mod, but fusion you get access to first. You would think that would be backwards, but it's, yeah, you get fusion first. Okay, cool. So I'll probably just place this. I'll put it here. I'll put it above ground, like that-ish. Is that cool? And then it doesn't look too hard to build. Okay, and then these guys go in the middle. Cool. And then you get the fusion-y things placed on top of you. So it looks like just this placed in the corners. A little bit hard to follow this build guide. Yeah, is it me or is it a little bit hard to follow the build guide for this thing? There we go. With 2 extra of those, because remember I had to make a little bit extra. And then I'm assuming that the inputs and all that can kind of go wherever. Is that a good guess? Anywhere in the glass, probably? No, actually, it looks like they go down here. Right? Underneath. Do you think that's necessary where they go? So this one's green. This one's red. And this one's yellow. I don't know how easy it is to see that, but... Okay. And then this should be my controller. And that would be the fusion controller. Sweet. Excuse me. What am I missing here? Missing 4 blocks. So you guys don't seem happy about something. There's nothing inside, right? Reactor energy input and item input output blocks can be placed anywhere that requires a reactor casing, but not anywhere there is reactor glass. Reactor glass is optional. Anywhere that requires reactor glass can be placed where make it look however you want. Okay. Yeah. So that makes some semblance of sense. Except for the part that it's not forming. Fusion reactor is what I'm making here, right? Yep, fusion multi-block. Yeah, so I would expect, you know, fusion chamber controller to be here. That's yellow, that's red, and that's green. Oh, I think we're good, actually. I think the book... I'm just going to remove the visualization. No, I think we're actually cool. Look at that. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. Yeah. Pause, enable auto balance, auto eject. All right, cool. Sweet. So I think we can fuse. I should look at making more flux plugs, right? Or points, I guess. Get a few more of these. We're just going to need some obsidian and size of... I don't feel like farming ender pearls right now. So, but I think I can get at least one, right? 1 point. Enough to get me power over here. So he's yoinked, plenty of power. And if this becomes a power hog, we just pull out the control rod and we should be fine. Agree? Agree. All right, so let's try yttrium real quick. So your recipe was for fusion. Let's do things that we know. Sodium plus nickel. Does that sound cool? Sodium, nickel. Okay. Okay, so there's your yttrium, and we're cool. Sweet, quest completed yttrium. And then I can EMC it. Awesome. All right, I feel like that's a pretty good wrapping up point for the episode. So let's wrap up here. We will come back next episode and continue down this path. For now, Del20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.